Welcome to Duke United Show. And Manchester United have just thrown away 2 points in a Premier League match versus Spurs. Away at, I call it the White Hart Lane still. I don't care what anyone says. I was calling it White Hart Lane to Garth. It's not White Hart Lane. What is it? It's the what stadium? What's it called?
Spurs Tottenham Stadium, isn't it? Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Isn't that right? Yeah, it's White Hart Lane, mate. It's Main Road, it's White Hart Lane. It's the Dell.
The Dell.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, you gotta be old enough to remember the Dell, mate. It's,
that was the one. That was the one. I don't know what's going on with my thing here, but we're having a mare with the backgrounds today. But yeah, just like we're having a mare with this second half. I don't know what the hell happened, Garth, but it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough.
No. I mean, to be fair, we deserved the point in the end because we played well for part of the first half, but we weren't exceptional throughout. And then second half, that Spurs clearly just wanted it more than us. We looked tired. I hate to say it. I hate that about saying about professional footballers. They're athletes, but a lot of them boys on the pitch did do 120 minutes only a few days ago. They looked physically and mentally tired towards the end of that game. There's no two ways about it. So, but got to finish our chances. Fernandes through after they score. That has to be put away. Couple in the first half as well. That had to be put away. These games need to be put out of sight. But as I said in the group, listen, the result itself, 2-2 away at Spurs, is not horrific. That's a decent result. It's the manner of the result that's disappointing, being 2-0 up and throwing it away. But in the cold, harsh light of day, we're not going to be too disappointed with a point at White Hart Lane.
Bloody hell, man. I feel like the players are going to be quite disappointed after how easy it was first half and how we were comfortably controlling the game. And I was like, we better up the pace. We need some more goals here because Tottenham can get back in the game anytime because they've got attackers who can do a job. And I was thinking, it's just going to happen, isn't it? It's just going to. And when we got our second, I thought, yeah, fine, okay, great. We've got a nice cushion. We're going to be okay. And then second half, they just come out. Again, but first half, we were giving them a bit too much open play in attack. And then second half, we were giving them even more. And they should have even got more goals. And they should have won it in the end. How bad is that? Like, I'm not happy with that. I'm really not happy. It just shows, though, how much we miss Varane and Martinez. Because they wouldn't have allowed that to happen. We'd be marshalling that defence. And that would never happen if them boys were playing. And it isn't even no swipe on Lindelof or Shaw because they did well today. But it's still a feeling of how are we allowing teams to just have chances? Imagine that's Man City in the FA Cup final. We stand no chance whatsoever if we play like that against City in the FA Cup final. So we've got to pick it up now. We've got to play as if we are playing them every week, I feel like. We should be able to do this. But anyway, a little bit frustrated second half. I felt like I just end the game. JP says stupidity change. And this players will cost us top four. Martial, Weghorst, and Malacia changes baffling. By this rate, Liverpool. I'm telling you, mate, it wasn't the greatest to see certain players coming on. Fred, mate. Garth, talk to me about Fred. What happened today?
Listen, that's Fred, innit? The best of Fred's decent, the worst of Fred's horrific, and when he plays badly, he misplaces every pass. This has always been my biggest problem with him and Scott McTominay. Their concentration levels when they're not dialed in, their passing is atrocious. And Fred today, like, there's no two ways about it. Some of the chances you're talking about Spurs having, they stem from Fred's just absolute wayward balls. I agree with JP there. I mean, I don't agree. I think top four. I think we've got it locked in. I think we're all right. But the changes were but again, 120 minutes against Brighton at the weekend, so maybe they were enforced. If you know what I mean, because we were getting tired, we were getting leggy out there. But it just shows that our squad depth ain't great at the moment. As we've been talking about, we miss Martinez and Varane desperately miss them. We can't take players off without it weakening our team. So, to be fair, it weren't just Fred. Malacia was the same. He weren't as bad as Fred, but he didn't get up to speed either once he came on. Yeah. He did not
None
get
of
up to speed.
To be fair, not one of the players got up to speed.
Well, Weghorst is Weghorst, didn't he? Weghorst did what Weghorst does. But disappointing. I think we'll be all right for top four. We've got a couple of must-win games coming up, as in like what I'd call the easier teams to play. They're not easy. Villa on a great run and everything, but if we want top four, but we've got to be taking these points, Nathan. We've got to be taking 3 points against Villa. I know what you're saying. 100% agree with you. but we've got to take them. So otherwise, what JP,
you're right,
JP's saying will come to pass.
You're right, Garth. We have got to, but that is one potential banana skin that I can see happening because they ain't messing about right now, and we are messing about right now. As much as I felt we looked quite lively going forward, we still lack that extra something to put people to bed. Like we should be putting Tottenham to bed today. They were sitting there just going, go on then, do what you want to us. We'll just lay off you. We won't even pressure you. Go and do what you want. And every time we got it, we had space and we still didn't make it count. I know it's City, they are a different kettle of fish, so we shouldn't even really be talking about them and the Arsenals of this world. They play different kind of football to us. We're nowhere near that yet. But when we get given this kind of opportunity, this kind of space, we've got to make it pay, especially when you've got Anthony playing better football now, and then you've got Rashford back on the goals trail, and Sancho has an open chance to bag like that, and even another one within the next 10 minutes, things are changing. You know who you're up against, because Sancho hasn't had open space like that in a long time, in a long, long time. But look, Tim says, Tim1999, 1999, were you born in 1999? I think he made the subs to rest players for the Villa game, but it affected us too much. Here's the thing though, Garth. We played Sunday, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If you ain't recovered in that amount of days, you shouldn't play football. Seriously.
I agree with you. I think he's more mentally, like, if your brain goes, your legs go as well, man. You know what I mean? Sometimes your legs can keep you going. But I just think, getting through the final, I think they looked wiped. I personally think it's just we went 2-0 up and they rested on their laurels. Listen, even at my level, like we used to do, you go in at half time, 2-3-0 up.
Yeah.
The opposition scores. The opposition scores early, first 10 minutes of the second half, and then all of a sudden you're on the back foot for the rest of the game. You can't you can never recapture what you had in the first half because now that they're in the ascendancy. So it's one of them games. I stick with it though. I think 2-2 at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is a decent enough result.
Yeah, we'll take
them, what 6 points behind us.
Well, I think if they get, I think it might. We'll have a look at that in a second, but let's take a look. Premier League table. Let me have a quick look. Premier League table. Let's see where they are on us right now.
Yeah, 6 points behind us, and we've got 2 games in hand on them. So it's a decent result.
Is it 2 games in hand? Is this updated right now? Well, we're 6 points ahead. Yeah, we are. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. So yeah.
So listen, and that's what I mean about top 4. I think that's pretty comfortable. We can lose 2 games and still it's in our hands. I think we're all right. It's, as I said, the manner of the result, Nathan, is what's disappointing, not the result itself. I think we've got to be quite happy with the 2-2. But being 2-0 up, we just ran out of statement. The moment they scored, you knew that this was 2-3-2 to Spurs. So
yeah. Well, look, end of the day, we got a point. We didn't lose, and on to the next. If we get a point and don't lose against Villa, we keep enough of a gap with them. The only difference is if they get. Wait a second, where Villa? I think they're just behind us. 3 points behind, and I'm sure
Villa are below Spurs, man. Villa are below Spurs.
Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, not 3 points behind, but they ain't. We got 2 games in hand on them as well. So yeah, it's exactly the same as Spurs. But if they did beat us, that means that they'll be on 57.
Oh, listen, Nathan, you're in a bit of a downer mood, mate. Aston Villa at Old Trafford, that's a win. Man United win. Like, stop this talk about it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, mate. It's a win. It's a win, mate. It's Villa at Old Trafford. It's a win.
All right.
Stop this downer talk. Stop this downer talk, man.
Okay. I know what I just feel. I know what I feel, and I just feel it. I think Liverpool are playing Spurs next. Yeah, that'll be a Liverpool win, or maybe it won't because Liverpool pants now. So
yeah.
But look, let's get into what happened anyway. So, game kicks off, and Sancho gets open, tap, touch, finish. What a finish that was! It was lovely. It was lovely to see him do that because we want to see him do that every week. And And then he got a little bit of a, that feeling of, right, I'm on this. I'm going to chase everything down. I'm going to do bits. We ended up being open. Rashford had some chances. Bruno in the second half. My goodness me. How did he miss that chance? How did he lift it so high to hit the bar? Straight after they score as well. I was thinking, oh my goodness me. But look, we were lucky because Dyer should have scored a point blank header. We're lucky. Son should have scored the other chance where he came into curly bottom corner. My goodness me, I'm telling you, we should. That's clear cut chances as well, like clear cut. I think the only one we had which was clear cut like that was the Bruno one, right? Is there anything else that I'm forgetting? That was like
who was it? Oh, well, proper. No, that is it. The Bruno one. We had obviously Sancho had another nice chance in the first half. This one, it was open.
Got blocked though.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we'll get into it with the player ratings, but Sancho had a good 25 minutes, but then went very quiet, very, very quiet. Anthony, very quiet all game because what he's been doing recently. Like it was just,
I like it.
It's still quiet, man. It was one of them. That's what I was saying. Like, if you really want to break down into the stats and figures, I bet that when you really look at it, 2-2 is a very fair result. A very, very fair result for this game. So, because even in the first half, it's not like Spurs didn't have a couple of chances here and there. It's just that we were looking really good. But anyway,
Okay, let's get into it. What are you saying for? But let's get straight into the player ratings, right? Player rating time, and let's go with goalkeeper, Mr. David De Gea. I'm going to bring mine up once you've said what you said.
7 for me, Nath. Conceded a couple of goals, but made a couple of good saves. So, there you go. Look at that.
7 as well. So, let's see what you got. Aaron Wan-Bissaka. What are you giving Aaron Wan-Bissaka?
7. 6 for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. We conceded 2 goals, so it's a 6. He had a good game, though, to be fair. He was doing well. Yeah, you gone 7. And it's fair. Take it away. You take it away because you're a big Aaron Wan-Bissaka fan. So.
Yeah, I felt he did defended very well. Whenever he was one-on-one, he done his job. Obviously, a few times a cross going to come in and chances going to be created. But I'm sure when he came off, we weren't drawing, if I can remember rightly. Maybe that isn't the case. But he was playing well, and I already had written my score. So as I was writing my score, I could see, right, he's getting this. I actually was having him on an 8. But because when he came off, then we conceded, I gave him a 7 to bring the scores down a bit because we're not winning the game anymore. But he was defending very well while one-on-one. He put some balls around the back as well, where some players should be getting on the end of them. He done what he needed to do and just stop people as he normally does. So I felt, you know what? You're doing very well today. So I gave him a 7. But then when he got that yellow card for not really a yellow card, that's just not fair. How yellow cards get given these days is ridiculous, man. He just went to clip past the ball. He taps the other guy's top part of his foot, and it's a yellow card. That's not a yellow card. How is yellow cards these days given? It doesn't make no sense. So annoying, Garth. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that's what I thought of Wan-Bissaka's game today. We're on to Lindelof.
6, quite standard game for him. Conceded 2 goals. Can't go more than a 6. Done all right, though. It's Lindelof. He is... Lindelof is a 2.5 out of 5, 5 out of 10. You know what I mean? Sort of like... It is what it is, just average. So you gone 7 as well, fair play. Look, I can see. It's a high 6. Yeah, go.
No, I felt like when we're 2-0 up, and I can't see it being like his fault for the way the game went. It's like there's so much pressure on us, but he held his own. He defended well. He kept the ball. He moved the ball out. He kind of manipulated the ball out of trouble at times and kept the ball moving well. Kept the speed of the game up when he's needed. And he actually defended for the most part pretty well. And even when we were stretched a few times, he was the one bailing us out a few times as well. So I'm like, you know what? You're on a 7, mate. You're doing well. But then what happens is the 2 goals get scored. But I don't see it being his fault, if you get what I mean. It's just somehow the team are getting overrun. We're getting overrun somehow. How is it we're getting overrun? I don't know. But Shaw and Lindelof were saving us a lot of times today. And I just felt... they're gonna score. If they're gonna keep knocking on the door, we cannot keep a clean sheet for that long. So we need to score in the second half. John Raphael says,
Bruno needed to score.
Bruno should have definitely scored straight after that goal to shut them right up, but he didn't. So anyway, I gave him a 7. Sure.
So see, this is why I gave Lindelof a 6. For Shaw's getting a 7 for me because I thought he was the better of the 2. So I can't be giving Shaw an 8. So it's a 7 for sure. I think
felt they both played the same, but go on.
He acquitted himself very nicely at centre back. Who would have known that he could have slotted in there quite well? And again, I agree. Like a solid game. The Spurs just were overrunning us, and it's one of them ones you have to blame the defence a little bit for it. So, but decent, solid game as a makeshift centre back. Fair play, 7.
Yeah, same here. I'm going to give him a 7. He looked comfortable on the ball, comfortable off the ball, comfortable defending one-on-one, having to recover as well. And, a lot of times he's have to go in a race with the players to win, to get that ball first, and then show the composure to get out of trouble and keep the ball. He done that, and he was called upon a number of times. It's the same with Lindelof. I think they both did a very good job today. I feel very comfortable with those two at the back. And lead, I say, I don't want to see the other guys again at centre back. Seriously, I don't want to see him playing. If Lindelof is fit, this is our next two. If Lindelof and Shaw are fit and Varane and Martinez are out, this is the two that gotta play. Like, they got to play. There's no one else. And so that's why I gave Shaw a 7. Dalot, what you giving Dalot?
For me, Dalot was quiet. I mean, it's not his natural position, so it was a 6 for Dalot for me. Just a quiet game for him. But again, like I say, there you go. We watched the same game, though. Quiet game.
I haven't told you.
To be fair, we both go. I go 6s to the other fellas, and you go 7s to him. So, it's he was pinned back most of the game. There was nothing going down either our left or their right. Nothing was happening. So it's a 6. To be one of them ones, forgot that he was playing half the game. You know what I mean? To be fair, so.
He wasn't called upon to do too much. No. He just did what he had to do: keep the ball, play the ball up the field with his left foot down the line. I like the way his techers. He's got the techers to play it up the line, even on the left foot. So it's nice that he can play at left back and feel comfortable there as well as right back. So here's one for you. Let's see what you think of Casemiro's game, because I've got a score, but let's see what you think he played.
I thought he played well. It's a 7 for me for Casemiro. I thought it was a decent game for him. I'm guessing you're going the other way. I thought his passing was good. I thought his passing got us out of trouble. Whoa! I thought his passing got us out of trouble a couple of times. But I mean,
it did.
What did you see? What did you see, mate?
No, it did. You're right. It did. It did get us out of trouble a lot of times. He did keep the ball moving at times as well. But for what we've seen of Casemiro over the last months, where we were raving about how he was playing, he's not playing anywhere near them levels. And I was just looking at the game going, look, when these players are out of the side, Varane and Martinez, I need Casemiro to step up and make this team a colossal team. When you're 2-0 up, let's make sure he's marshalling the whole team, making sure everyone's in the right place. We're not getting overrun all the time. I'm really trying to put responsibility on him to make sure the team do not allow that to happen. And I feel like I don't know if he can do any more than he's doing, but again, it just feels like you need to be doing more for my team. He needs to be doing more for his team. We've been giving him 8s and 9s them other weeks. He was on fire. Now, obviously, you need to have all the other players in positions for him to do his part. But again, he's just a bit less than what I'm seeing. And then he did give the ball away a few times as well. And it nearly led to goals. So I was a bit like, nah, you're going down, mate. I was giving him a 6, and then I moved it to a 5. So that was me. On to Eriksen. Eriksen, what are you saying?
It's a 7 man of the match for me. Eriksen, great game for him. I thought like move again, passing, keeping calm under pressure. I feel like he needs to get his match fitness up. You can tell he definitely ain't match fit yet. So, but once he's on, he's gonna be a great asset towards the end of the season. 100%. Just it's the calmness with the ball at foot at feet. That he's never even if he's got a man on him, he's never under pressure. Whereas Casemiro, I'll give you this, Casemiro isn't great with a man on him with the ball at his feet. Like, he'll get it out, but Eriksen can unlock passes out of nothing. So wonderful ball player, and it's a man of the match performance for me.
I felt like he done really well at times. I just felt like when we was in control of the game, we didn't make it count enough. And they're the players I'm looking to get the ball moving a lot faster and moving it one touch. Like when he played that ball into Rashford straight away. I want to see us moving the ball a lot quicker. And we were dilly-dallying a bit on it because Spurs made us feel like it was too easy. And it nearly killed us because, like I say, we go 1-0 up, popping the ball around all slowly, and then, it's like the game's over. We felt like the game's over, and it's like they lulled us into that false sense of security that it is over, but it isn't. It wasn't over. And it's like you've got to keep the intensity up and batter a team like Tottenham. They went 5-0 down. Why? Because Newcastle did not care. They were on the floor and they put their foot on their neck. We put them on the floor and we just said, you want to breathe? You want some drink? You want some food? That's what we did. And that's why we end up with only 1 point and not the 3. We're not ruthless enough. And I feel like the boys that can make a difference, Casemiro, Eriksen, obviously the rest of them I'm going to talk about later, but I'm giving him a 6. I've got to give him a little bit less, even though he was one of our better players today. He was one of our good players. So I do understand why you gave him a 7 and even thought about man of the match because I couldn't think of who was man of the match in the end. But
in a poor overall performance, it's Eriksen for me. So
okay. Bruno Fernandes.
6, quiet game for Bruno. Got the assist though, so excuse me. I got the assist, so it's a 6. Just a quiet game for him. Never gives up though, but yeah, it's a 6. So yeah, you got the other way.
Weird, isn't it? Because I felt like he was always going to be the catalyst again, like for things happening. It's like everything comes through him. All the passes, all the different things that he's trying to do, it comes through him, and he's linking up to people. Obviously, he made Sancho that chance. I think he made the pass for Rashford to get his. How did Rashford score his goal? Now he put the ball through to him, didn't it, over the top? And who put the ball over to him?
That's Bruno's assist, isn't it? That is Bruno's assist.
If I can remember rightly, I'm not even sure.
Yeah. Bruno put it over for Rashi's goal. That was Bruno.
And Dyer, mate, no pace whatsoever. I thought Maguire was slow, but Dyer's just as slow. My goodness me. He didn't even need to do a skill or drop a shoulder to get away from him. He just kept going. And he was going away from goal, and then just pushed it down and scored. That was the easiest Rashford to ever score. I'm telling you. But yeah, Bruno, I felt he was one of the better players. I felt he was my man of the match. But obviously for Man United players, I felt like he was the player who was doing the most on the field. Just. I felt like loads of players were in and around the same levels. And if we'd won this game, everyone would have been on this pretty much 7s, So I couldn't really change too much. But you're right. As the game wore on, players you could have just brought their score down a little bit. So on to Anthony. What you saying Anthony got then?
6, very quiet game for Anthony. Based on his recent performances, quiet game. Didn't scare the Spurs defense enough, which is I know something that you wanted to see him do more of. Didn't take the ball and attack their defense enough. In exactly what you're saying, when we're 1-0 up and we've got the game in the palm around, he should have been far more free to express himself. But listen, it's one of them games. It's a 6, solid 6 for him.
You know what? I'll give him a 6 as well. I did put a 7 down because I felt like his use of the ball was good. His decision making was good. His hard work off the ball was also good. I didn't see him mess around with the ball too many times. Okay, a few times he tried to play a ball and expecting another player to do a different type of movement. But in terms of
you can't drop him points for that.
That's what I mean. I don't think that's anything. But in terms of what you've just mentioned there, you want to see more for what he's about, not just link up, nice passing, or you made the right pass. I want to see you making some shots, making a proper assist. Same like Perisic comes, he gets down the wing. How many times does he put a quality ball in for someone to get a head on? That's what I want to see from an Anthony in a different perspective, in his way, where he might play 1-2s and get the ball, but he didn't really.
Not just that. Yeah, not just that. That's what I mean. Like, I wanted to see Anthony peg Perisic back. Perisic is 35 years old. Yeah, he's a quality player. Yeah. But Perisic shouldn't have been Perisic shouldn't have felt like he could take the liberty of being that far on the pitch all game in the second half, just knocking him until we come off Ben Daly. Yeah. So, it wasn't a great performance, but he's been playing much better recently. So hats off to him, much better recently.
Yeah. So with Sancho, what did you give him?
Sancho gets a 7 because his first 20 minutes, that's the Sancho we want to see. And then the next 10 minutes, it died down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then by the start of the second half, he was non-existent again.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Could have given him a 6. Could have given him a 6, and it wouldn't have been out of the question, would it?
Listen, if he hadn't scored, it would have definitely been a 6, Nate, 100%. Like, that's the thing. But he's just getting back into it. He's getting back into the mould. The 20 minutes that we did see of him, that's the Sancho that we want to see more of. And he was excellent for those 20 minutes. He was a real handful. But, yeah, I think he's got a very make or break season next season, hasn't he? There's no two ways about it. Like, because obviously we ain't getting rid of him. We're not getting rid of him this year. That'd be silly. He's a quality player. But it's a very make or break season for him next year. But yeah, do you know what? It could easily be a 6, but it is a 7 because he scored. 7 because he scored.
Yeah, and another thing I'd just like to mention there is he could do with a real striker like that is really, that just gets on the end of anything and bangs it away like Haaland has been doing. What he did with Haaland is because he made the runs and he's saying, listen, just put me the ball there, and he puts the ball. So we don't have natural strikers that inside that box when everything's like congested is just ready to touch bang, and that's Harry Kane. So if we do get Harry Kane and Sancho is there trying to supply him and he can't do that for him, that's when I'll say, see you later, mate. You might as well go somewhere else because here is not the place for you. It doesn't suit your game.
Yeah, so 100%. Listen, if we get Harry Kane, then I think it's game over for a lot of other teams in the league because it's just a jigsaw piece that really works in this team, especially watched him today. But that's a different conversation.
Link up play is sick, isn't it? Unbelievable. And look, this is timing of the pass, and even he's not that fast, but he still beats players and he still gets the shots off.
Listen, that pass for Son's goal, that's a Pirlo level pass. There's no ways about it. That's a Carrick level pass, Pirlo level pass. Whichever great ball playing midfielder you want to talk about, that's that level of passing. It is a joke of a pass. But anyway,
yeah. You know what? He will bring assists to our team as well. The way he passes that ball and the way his link-up play is second to none, really. It's all no frills, but it's ridiculous. Like, it is link-up level.
His link-up with Rashford will be sick because Rashford will be cutting in from the left and he'll just be curling them balls in. But that's a dream. Let's see what happens.
He's going to come, man. He's got to come. Rashford. What are you giving Rashford?
Again, it's a 7 because he scored. Otherwise, it's very similar to Sancho. He had a good 20-minute spell, and apart from that, very quiet. And to be fair, listen, he's scoring goals, so that's all that matters. He's a forward, and I know that in my book, if a forward's scoring, that's all he needs to do. One shot, one goal, all game. Don't care. He scored, so he's scoring. But he needs to make sure he keeps scoring because otherwise, he will. Some people will start saying he's exposing himself for not doing enough in the team if his goals dry up. But he's a great player. But it's a 7 because he scored.
I agree. As long as you're scoring when you're playing this quiet, I don't mind, But when you're not, this is the thing with our front three, isn't it? It's like if they don't score, they're usually playing at an average levels. So as long as they get goals while they are playing average levels, I want to see that level go up, though. I really do want to see it go up. The subs, they all got 6s and 5s.
Fred's getting a free. Nate. We've already discussed him, and that's not a joke, mate. That's not a joke, mate. That is horrific. That was a horrific performance, mate. That's the sort. Honestly, that the performance then is the sort of performance I'd expect from like a semi-pro footballer who's like, I could play pro ball, and then he gets up and he gets 10 minutes from Man United, and his passes are 5 meters short, his runs are 5 meters. You know what I mean? Everything's just a little bit off, but anyway, shocking.
That was poor, to be fair. I've got to say it was not a good performance, and pretty much if he did 10 passes, 9 of them played straight to Tottenham. So
or out. But anyway.
But last but not least, we know the big man, Erik ten Hag. What are you giving to him?
It's a 6 today, Nate. It's a 6, man. I think some of the choices he made, even if they were enforced, I think were poor.
Forced to me. I don't think so unless he tells us.
No, I don't think it's enforced. I think he was trying to tactical masterstroke it. And listen, if it works, we'll give him an 8. If Fred comes on and scores the winning goal, he's getting an 8.
You're right.
Fred came on and was appalling, so he's getting a 6.
Yeah. It's not his fault. Sometimes it's not. It's what the players do when he comes on, and if it works, we give him an 8, 9, 10 sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
We are like that. But today we've gone and lost 2 points for me. We've lost.
It's a definite. Yeah, we've definitely lost to 2 points. Yeah, man, 100%.
And he didn't do whatever needed to be done to keep their head in the game at 2-0 up and say, listen, this is Tottenham. They can still come back and kill you off. He might have said it, but whatever he said, it didn't go into the brains of the players because they looked like they switched off from halftime, and then we just looked like we were cruising for bruising. And we were once it went to 2-2, I was even thinking they can win this now. They're definitely gonna win this. They're good. They're better than us, and they continue getting attacked.
We got a little bit better after they scored their second goal, just a little bit, and it sort of killed the game dead. But when they scored their second goal, I was adamant that they were going to win the game. They had 10 minutes and they were fully in the ascendancy, bruv. So yeah, 100%.
We were lucky. Look, we were lucky for me, in the end, we were lucky. But on the whole course of the whole game, you got to say points shared is pretty much a fair result. It's as you said. Yeah. You know what? Good night, that game. And let's move on to the Villa game, which is going to be another tough one. As I said, let's see what we say in the preview because, like I say, I think that's going to be a real tough game. It's not going to be what it should be what you're saying. It should be a walk in the park.
No, not a walk in the park, Nath. I just think we win 2-1. Yeah, 2-1, 2-0. I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I just think we win. It's not going to be a hard game. It's Villa, man. It's Villa.
Remember what Villa did to Arsenal? Remember
I don't care.
You know how many games they've won on the trot? We'll look at that in the preview anyway because they're on some form. I think they're up there in the top of the form.
Oh, yeah. They've won 6 in a row, haven't they? Or something stupid like that. I understand, but still.
Garnacho's training again, boys.
Let's go.
Garnacho's training again, by the way. So that's nice to see. Hopefully, we'll be ready for the final and we can have something to bring off the bench when, something like that to bring off the bench.
And don't forget, there's the small chance for Varane will be ready for the final as well.
So, it's not far away, is it? It's a couple of weeks. What? A couple of weeks?
What is it? Middle of May, it'll be.
It's middle of May. Month. Yeah. So hopefully he'll be back fit then. So look, the game is on Sunday. So Saturday we will have the preview for the Villa game. And we'll see how that goes, guys. But look, Garth, thanks a lot for joining us today.
Pleasure.
Thanks a lot in the comments for all your input. And look, continue to put some comments in. If you're new, make sure you like and subscribe so you can see when our messages come up lastminute.com that we've got a show going live. Look, thank you for your time, and I will see you guys on Saturday. Peace out.